Poppy Playtime is a new indie horror game that only has one chapter out of however many, we actually don't know, but it reminds us of the likes of FNAF and Bendy and the Ink Machine, since everyone keeps comparing it to that instead of FNAF. But FNAF is a keyword on this channel. Either way, there's a lot that's a mystery about this series, especially, like I said, since there's only one chapter. But we do know a couple things, so this is everything we know about Poppy Playtime. I'm Connor Monroe, and let's do it. Company history. What we do know about the company that seems to be the main antagonist of the Poppy Playtime series, called Playtime Company, is that they seemingly hit it big in the 1960s with the release of Poppy, the world's first truly intelligent toy. This Poppy doll put them on the map, marking them as the king of the toys until dolls fell out of style probably around the late 70s, causing Playtime Co to have to update their repertoire and come out with newer toys like Huggy Wuggy and Candy Cat among others. This helped them bring back some of the business they lost, but this didn't seem like enough, because they soon began seemingly experimenting with more realistic dolls in an attempt to recreate Poppy's success. Because let's face it, even if there was a truly intelligent version of this doll, not every version of Poppy would have been like that, only the one they used in the commercials, and later we realized at the end of the chapter. Just like how ice cream in commercials is mashed potatoes, it's not really what you get, it's just to make it look good. However, this then brings us to the events of Tape Unknown, the final tape in which, quote, final log in relation, Experiment 1006, the prototype. Coordination and cooperation is evidently within his skill set, as well as the skill set of all other experiments of his type. Though still missing, today's events are no doubt in relation to him. His absence was a flawed scientific process which should have been under no circumstances left unaccounted for. That's why I'm making this log, so that the same mistake won't be made twice. Any future experiments will need to be contained and disposed of in a secure location. I'm not worried about myself, one breakthrough and I'll be back. We must forge onwards in the name of science, but for those who are beneath us, understand it or not. And note, despite some weird grammar moments in there. Which then caused the company to seal away their experiments in an underground bunker, which we seemingly explore in Chapter 1. Next, toys are organic beings. We are pretty certain that the toys we see around the factory are both part toy, but also an organic creature of some sort. We know this thanks to various sources such as the trailer for the game and the sheer amount of blood in the game. Like, if these monsters were animatronic or some other form of sentient being that got possessed or whatnot, then we would know, okay? Like, a classic toy that was just infused with the soul of a kid or something wouldn't end up bleeding when bashing its head on a pipe, and wouldn't really need to eat, which is something that we learned from the trailer, which has a hidden message in it that says, Experiment 1006, the prototype. He seems serviceable as the prime example for the type of vessel which we are trying to create. Despite his digestive tract being wired properly, the prototype finds no necessity for sustenance, unlike the others. All other experiments can survive while subsisting on much larger portions. Whether this is referring to Huggy Wuggy or the player is another story entirely, but either way, these toys appear to be organic beings that were created in some form of experiment. I say experiment, but it was probably a very torturous experience in reality. That would have been... Being turned into a toy, I'm sure, is not an easy process. Next up, Chapter 2 comes in 2022. Recently, the trailer for Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 was released. Well, recently at the time that I wrote this. It was a teaser trailer, so we didn't actually learn anything, but we did get a projected release date of early 2022. That could mean many things, if I'm honest, and it doesn't exactly have to stay as early 2022. I mean, take Security Breach for example, we've been waiting for that thing for like 2 years. I mean, it's because there was a kind of like a pandemic going on, but still. There could be delays that prolong the development of Chapter 2, unless they're already basically complete and all they need to do is release it, which could certainly be an interesting strategy if they wanted to slowly hype it up, but nevertheless that's probably not where they're going with it. The likelihood that it will get delayed is unknown, but currently we know that Chapter 2 is set to come out probably the first quarter of 2022. Next, toys are probably people. Okay, well this isn't confirmed in the game, but I think it's fairly safe to say that the toys are being created from people. That the employees at Playtime Co are being transformed into toys through some freaky process that resulted in them being hungry for human nuggets. This is mostly based on Stella and Poppy, however, where the two characters are voiced by the same person. This combined with other pieces of evidence like the fact that Poppy's voice box was covered in blood, the creepy human-like eyes inside the doll's head, the fact that this AI is supposed to be so advanced they consider her the first truly intelligent doll that can have full-on conversations with you, and Stella's love for toys, desire to be immortal, and the desire to make kids happy like her toys made her, that basically gives you a recipe for homicidally inclined children's toys. Well, at least not in her case, because she was willing. The other theory is that to make a good toy, the person being turned into that toy needs to be willing to live as a toy, so anyone who is forced into it or not a willing subject ends up getting turned into something like the Huggy Wuggy Stabby Wabby monster we saw in Chapter 1, which is certainly not ideal in my personal professional opinion. I say this as a man who has turned countless humans into toys, but I digress. Could Poppy Playtime be a prequel to Toy Story? I mean, that can explain all the toys' sentience beyond just their imagination. It's the kids' imagination. That's why the toys are alive. I'm almost falling over. No, it's because they're actually humans that were turned into toys. Calling it right now. Poppy Playtime. I almost said Poppy Woppy. Poppy Playtime is a prequel to Toy Story. You heard it here first, folks. Finally, experiments. There have been multiple experiments over the various stages of Playtime Co's development, resulting in at the very least 6 experiments, with experiment 1006 being the most viable as a template. However, is an experiment that ultimately escapes somehow. It's unknown if it comes back or is caught, however most people assume this to be the Huggy Wuggy we fight in Chapter 1. This leaves 5 other experiments in the wind, which most likely represent the other 5 toys that we learned about in Chapter 1. Candy Cat, Catbee, Kissy Missy, Brawn, and Boogie Bot. These could be the other experiments, however there also seems to be a 7th, considering how this was an example that they wanted to recreate. So if they found something that they wanted to recreate, realistically they wouldn't just stop there, right? If anything, it would serve as more motivation to keep making human toys. There we have it, friends, everything we know about Poppy Playtime. What do you think about the game, and do you have any theories about Chapter 2? Be sure you let me know down below. However, speaking of comments, I would like to respond to some from previous Poppy Playtime videos. And I think you know what one I'm talking about. Lisa Velasco said, at least give credit to Co. You guys copied his compilation and theory, so unprofessional. Now, I wanted to address this because a lot of people are commenting this, and apparently Co. also made a statement. But I want to put this on the record right now. I didn't intentionally rip off Co's video. Okay? I found most of these points through Reddit posts, and my sister also helped me since she watches basically everyone play that game, whoever plays it on YouTube. Like, at points, these Reddit videos did link to that video, but I was genuinely unaware that most of these points were in that video. Okay? As for me using the same wording, again, I was using points off of Reddit posts, and as well, I was using proper grammar. So I wanted to apologize for Co, because I'm sorry for using your work, but I really didn't know, man. The link to your video is now in the description for that video, and as well linked in the iCard. It's the very first iCard. As for these comments though, okay? You guys really couldn't give me the benefit of the doubt, could you? Like, this happened maybe, what, once in like 2 years of videos? And you still think I intentionally ripped off a whole video? Guys, come on. You should know me better than this at this point. I just wanted to talk about it because there are so many comments about it. I wanted to say it in a video, but based on the last Poppy Playtime videos, this isn't gonna get as many views. So all the people who are commenting that probably aren't watching any of our Poppy Playtime videos, but hey, just wanted to put it out there. I was reading Reddit posts. I'm sorry, Co. Didn't actually intend to do that. Zach Baca said, it's been out for what, a month, and everywhere I look I see Poppy Playtime. Bruh. What? It's a popular game with horror and mystery elements. What do you expect, bro? It's basically the new FNAF. Except, hopefully not as complicated because, oh god. My knees are already shaking at that thought. That's all the time we have for comments today. Don't really want to do more than that because most of the comments I've already addressed basically, but thank you all so much for watching. If you stuck around until the end and didn't just come here to comment hate, thank you all so much for watching. I have been in Shower Macon Monroe, and I'll see you in another video.